Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, as all of you are here, I'm guessing you are eager to learn OpenGL. Well, before learning how to use OpenGL in our program, let's delve a little bit deeper and understand how OpenGL works. Well, before that, I would like to talk about something. Well, if you want some reference documentation for these tutorials, you can refer this website known as learnopengl.com. This is a website I learned OpenGL from, and you can refer it anytime. Okay, well, so let's get into it. Now, let me break OpenGL to you into some parts. So, your OpenGL can be divided into two parts. That is, your OpenGL context and your OpenGL functions. Yes. So basically, all your OpenGL variables are contained inside this OpenGL context, for simplicity's sake. Well, this OpenGL functions are divided into two. That is, it can be a state changing function, or it can be a state using functions. Okay, now let's see this. What is this OpenGL context first? Well, let me tell you, OpenGL in its base is written in C. Yes, so all of your C concepts will be used in understanding OpenGL and how it is built. So this OpenGL context can be visualized as a large structure that contains any number of variables and a type of variables. That can be an integer variable A, can be a character variable B, and so on. Now let's take a specific case about drawing something onto the rendering window. So, what will be the variables that will require to draw an object onto the rendering window? First of all, we'll have to set that we want to draw something on that. So I'll use a boolean to draw variable. Now, what type of shape you want to draw? Do you want to draw a point, or do you want to draw a line, or do you want to draw a triangle? So I'll use an enum type shape. Now, in complex objects, how many vertices do you want? Well, so it can be an integer number of vertices and all such variables. Now, let's see the state changing and state using functions. So basically, the state changing functions changes the values of these variables that are present in the structure of OpenGL context. However, your state using function uses these values of variable that are currently there to render something onto the rendering window. It can be anything. Is it okay? That's what OpenGL is in a brink. So let's read some definitions about them. So yes, OpenGL is written in C. So OpenGL is understood as a large state machine. As I told you, your OpenGL context can be assumed as a collection of large amount of variables that define how OpenGL should currently operate. The current state of OpenGL is also called OpenGL context. And as I said, OpenGL contains mainly two types of function, a state changing function and state using function. So is OpenGL clear to you? That's a very vague question, isn't it? So, but what I told, is it clear? So now let's move on to something new. Um, let's redraw this OpenGL context structure. I'll tell you in a second. Structure OpenGL context. Now here are all the variables. Now let's take the specific case of boolean to draw enum type shape and int number of vertices, well, and so on. Now the developers at OpenGL one day thought, well, look at these three functions, they kinda look related to each other, so why don't we relate them in some manner? So how do we do it? And see, yes, we use structures for that. So what they did, they use these three variables to create structure. Let's name that structure draw. They put all the three variables here. Number of vertices. So now the structure of OpenGL context became something like this. Struct OpenGL context. And now a variable of this new structure type draw. So struct draw variable 1. Now the developers thought, well, we can actually create as many number of variables of the structure type now as we want. So let's do that. Structure draw variable 2. Structure draw variable 3. Well, I have created three variables of this draw structure. So actually I can now assign this variable 1 to draw point by changing some values in that structure. I can use this variable 2 to draw a line. I can use this variable 3 to draw a triangle. Very easily. I don't have to configure now all the three variables. Instead, I can just use these three variables anywhere I want in my program. So, these little structures that are present in OpenGL are known as OpenGL objects. And its applications or its different types can be said as object targets. Now let's read some of the definitions of what is OpenGL object. So, OpenGL object is considered as a predefined structure with a collection of variables that represents a subset of OpenGL context or state. Is it understood? Now to the next point. As I said, an object itself is divided into various different types. As we saw, your object targets that are the variables of this object type in your OpenGL context. And last but not least point, in actual coding, we don't actually create a variable of this object type. Instead, what we do, we assign an object ID to it. Now, how do you code objects, we'll see it in the upcoming tutorials. Don't worry about that. But just consider the concept of OpenGL objects. So is it clear to you? If it is not, you can rewind the video, but if it is not at all clear, actually you don't have to worry about that, because we'll come across various type of examples of OpenGL objects in our upcoming tutorials that you get the gist of that. Now we have dug deep enough into OpenGL to understand what are its components. We have understood one of its entities known as OpenGL object. So that is enough for beginners, and let's move on to the next step. Well, let's understand now what are the theory behind creating a window in OpenGL. Now, the thing is, creating an OpenGL window is a very OS specific task, and as I have said earlier in my first tutorial, OpenGL is platform independent. So if something is OS specific, OpenGL purposefully tries to stay away from it. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that we as programmers have to create our own OpenGL window, our own OpenGL context, and handle the input all by ourselves. Luckily, there are some libraries just specifically targeted to OpenGL that helps us in doing this job. Some of them are GLUT, GLFW, STL, and SFML. Now, here in our tutorials, we'll be using the library GLFW. So, there's just one thing that is remaining before actual coding a window in OpenGL. So let's see what is that. Well, now you have heard about OpenGL from last tutorial. So you might have wondered that, well, OpenGL is free to use, but it is getting yearly developed and new versions of OpenGL are coming every year. So who is developing OpenGL for free? Well, the thing is, it's not for free. I'll tell you how. But the thing is, the graphic card manufacturer actually develops and implements this graphic API's version, let it be OpenGL or Direct 3D, into the graphic card. So yes, it is possible to get a slightly different output in two graphic cards. Okay, so when you are paying for the graphic card, you are also paying for developing and implementing OpenGL. Now, because it is related to graphic card, and graphic card is related to your CPU, that is your OS, and hence some of the tasks, as you can read here, are OS specific. You don't have to worry about what are them, but yes, they are. So to overcome these problems, we'll use a library called GLAD. Now remember one thing, this GLAD header itself contains all the OpenGL headers that will generally need in an OpenGL program. So in actual coding, we only have to include GLFW and GLAD and other C++ necessary files in our headers. So that's it for today's tutorial. From the next tutorial, we'll start actual coding, and so before that, I want you, my audience, to do certain tasks to get ready for the next tutorial. These tasks are, first of all, I'll recommend using Visual Studio as the IDE. Well, Visual Studio, because Visual Studio is a good application for creating large projects that we will encounter in OpenGL. The second thing is, try to set up this GLFW and GLAD on your own. So you can refer to that website, learnopengl.com. There they have beautifully explained. If you faced any technical difficulties, you can write in the comment section, or if you are facing too much difficulty, task, I'll create another video on how to set up GLFW and CLAD. Now, the last thing is actually optional, but I'll recommend it. So that thing is, read the functions that are present in the GLFW library. So this will give you a prior knowledge of all the functions that are present in GLFW. Because the thing is, I teach only the functions that are necessary for our tutorials. But GLFW is a very powerful library. So to harness all its power, I think it is good to read what are the functions present in GLFW library. So that's it for today. If you like the video, press the like button and subscribe for more such tutorials. Thank you.